Hey parents, have you ever been in a situation where you felt really tired? You're a parent, so of course you have. But maybe before having children, have you ever felt so tired and then you kind of just get past it and you feel fine again? And you feel like, oh, I was really tired, but I'm all right now. I could keep going. Maybe it was back in the days before having children when you were out partying and maybe you hit a bit of a wall and you felt tired, but then you bounced back and you were fine. Or maybe when you were traveling, perhaps long haul, and you had to stop somewhere and you're at the airport and you just want to curl up anywhere and go to sleep, but you have to power through, and you power through and then you feel fine. You're like, actually, I'm okay now. I could keep going a bit longer. Often happens with travel. It does often happen with travel. I'm sure you can draw upon an experience or a time where you have felt that way and had that feeling. And we often call that a second wind. I'm sure you've heard that phrase. And it's not just a made up thing. A second wind is real. It's actually scientifically a thing. It's something that happens. And when we talk about sleep and infant sleep, I rattle on all the time, I know, about overtiredness. And that's because it's so key. It shows up in most sleep challenge situations. And I wanted to give you a real clear, so you can properly imagine and feel what this is like, because this happens to all of us. Basically what happens, so you've been in that situation, so think of that time you've just thought of, time you can remember when you have had that feeling of being tired and then being okay without sleeping in between. What happened in that situation is you were unable to go to sleep. So I'm going to take the airport example here. You were really, really tired, there was nowhere to lie down, and you know, flight's going to go soon, you've got to keep going, you powered through. What you did there was, your body was ready to go to sleep. You know how to go to sleep. You're a grown-up. We know how to do this. But you couldn't, so you made that choice to keep going. Your brain would have then gone, right, okay, well, I'm not going to sleep. There's bright lights, there's movement, there's action, I'm standing up. You know, your brain's taking in all these messages that say, we need to stay awake. You're not just gonna hit the deck unless you have a medical problem. But your brain has gone, okay, we need to stay awake. That's what we'll do. So it releases hormones to keep you awake. It's very clever. It says, come on, body, we gotta keep going. So we need some adrenaline. One of those hormones is cortisol. That's often related to stress. It's not just a stress hormone, but it is often related to stress. What it really is adrenaline. It's a boost. And so when these hormones are released, they wake the body up, which is why you feel like, actually I feel okay now. And it's a bit like nature's coffee, isn't it? You feel okay, you think, okay, I'm good, I can keep going. And the more time that you're awake and you're feeding off that adrenaline, your brain's taking in more messages, more signals to say, stay awake, so more is released. And you're then awake, but you're kind of awake on hormonal adrenaline rather than actual replenished, rested, healthy energy, which is different, which is why it doesn't last forever. It's like having a sugar fix, isn't it? It's like a short-term boost of energy, will keep you going for a while, but eventually you're gonna have to come down, and then eventually you're gonna have some sleep. But I really wanted to take this adult example as you as a parent that can then relate to and understand and kind of get a feel for what goes on in the body, in the human body, which causes that reaction, because then you can start to spot it in your children. And I used to joke about it if I could see my children going there. And my husband and I would even use things like, oh no, here we go, we're going to be all cortisoled up. And it's because you know that we're going past that sleepy window. As a grown-up, you know when you feel tired, but children can be hard to read, and we can't just wait for them to yawn or rub their eyes, because usually that's a sign that they've gone past that window, and actually we're already going into that overtiredness place. You want to catch them quick if you see that, because after yawning and eye rubbing comes buzzing, wired hyperactivity, you know, when you get that Duracell bunny effect at 9 o'clock at night and go, my charge just keeps going on and on and on. It's like, no, they don't. What happened is you missed the window. So now they appear to go on and on and on. But if you got them to sleep earlier, perhaps before they even seemed tired, guarantee they would have got to sleep better and slept more soundly and will be a better sleeper and would sleep probably longer. This is always the fear. Parents go, oh, if I put them to bed any earlier, they'll be awake too early in the morning. Not true. Total myth. That's not based on, there's no logical reason. Your child doesn't have a program where they go, I go to sleep and I sleep for this many hours. It doesn't work quite like that. And actually, a overtired child is likely to sleep less. Crazy, right? An exhausted child is likely to sleep less. Now and again, an exhausted child will have a mega catch-up. Yes, they will have a big sleep in and you'll think, oh, wow, brilliant. But those will be random, not daily. An overtired child will generally wake up more in the night, wake up early for the day, have a shorter night's sleep than their peers, and just generally be overtired. So have a good think about how you have felt and how that works in the brain, and keep an eye on your children. Spot those windows, know when it's time for them to have a sleep, even if they don't appear sleepy. I mean, gosh, I could probably, if I curled up in a comfortable spot and closed my eyes and did some nice refreshing breathing, I could probably take a nap now. And I've had a good night's sleep, so there's no real reason that I should need that, but I could probably do it. We don't have to always be knackered before we can go to sleep. And your child is likely to be ready for sleep before you would think. So don't let them go and miss that window. Don't let them go into that second wind. All that does is make it harder for the poor little thing to get to sleep. If you let them go into a second wind and then go, come on now, bedtime, they're going to be like, what? This is too hard. I'm now fighting against all these chemicals. I'm now trying to actually, obviously they're not saying this or thinking this, but this is what's going on. They're like, okay, there's all these chemicals now and then I'm all awake and now you want me to go to sleep. Yeah, we all do it. We all miss that window sometimes, but being aware of it, just knowing about it, and if you didn't know anything about this, hopefully now you do, and that knowledge will serve you well. So don't let your kiddies get overtired. Don't let yourself get overtired. Get the sleep you need, and don't go into a second wind when you know that you can get a good rest.